black hole is usually a place in space where no light exists, making it all but impossible to capture on film.
It is the first and only black hole ever photographed.
The most widely accepted explanation is the Big Bang Theory.
For millions of years, something has been whizzing through space at near light speed. Galaxies are frequently millions of light years separated from one another. Gravity, on the other hand, can bring together clusters of hundreds to thousands of galaxies in a tight formation. When the entire galaxy clusters become too close to each other, gravity can coil them in tighter and tighter until they are unable to escape. This causes incredibly violent collisions, and this is what scientists recently came across while exploring the universe. What is the most recent discovery? Stay with us till the end to know everything there is to know about this strong force that has been travelling through the cosmos for millions of years. The Milky Way Galaxy contains our solar system as one of its many components. The name of the galaxy comes from a description of how it appears from Earth. When viewed from our vantage point, the Milky Way appears to be a hazy strip of light that is visible in the night sky, and its constituent stars appear to be unable to be distinguished with the human eye. Our galaxy is a member of the nearby group of galaxies that collectively make up the Virgo supercluster. The Laniakea supercluster includes this cluster in its ranks of member clusters. According to the opinions of several astronomers, the Milky Way is accompanied by a number of other galaxies. It is estimated that the Milky Way contains anywhere between 100 and 400 billion stars and at least the same number of planets. Our solar system can be found approximately 27,000 light-years away from the centre of the galaxy, on the inner edge of a spiral-shaped concentration of gas and dust known as the Orion Arm. An extremely powerful radio emitter, known as Sagittarius A, can be found at the heart of our galaxy. This supermassive black hole has around 4.1 million times the mass of our Sun. These stars and galaxies, which are placed at various distances from the core of the galaxy, circle around it at a speed of around 220 kilometers per second. Scientists believe that this constant rotational speed is in contradiction with the Keplerian dynamics, and as a result, they have come to the conclusion that a significant portion of the mass of the Milky Way cannot be seen by telescopes because it does not emit or absorb electromagnetic radiation. This mass is what we now refer to as dark matter. When viewed through the lens of other galaxies, the incredible speed at which the Milky Way as a whole is travelling is calculated to be approximately 600 kilometers per second. The most ancient stars in the Milky Way are almost as old as the universe itself, according to recent findings from a team of experts. As a result, these stars most likely came into being not long after the fabled Big Bang. The Milky Way is thought to be one of the two largest galaxies in the local group of galaxies, which also includes Andromeda. The mass of the Milky Way is between 890 billion and 1,540 billion times that of the Sun. Using cutting-edge technology, scientists have discovered that a great deal is going on within this galaxy. In addition to the hundreds of billions of stars and planets, there are 10 billion white dwarfs, 1 billion neutron stars, and nearly 100 million stellar black holes. A disk of gas known as the interstellar medium fills the space between the stars. However, significant events also occur outside the Milky Way. In fact, scientists have lately identified something exceedingly disturbing approximately 730 million light-years away from Earth. It would not be incorrect to claim that astronomers are fascinated by large explosions and collisions. They are continuously competing to locate a larger and brighter one, and what could be better than an explosion caused by the collision of two of the largest objects in the universe? In February 2022, the Journal of Astronomy and Astrophysics published a new study that showed to the world one of the most detailed images ever obtained of a massive shockwave. The fascinating galaxy clusters known as Abell 3667 gets its name from the fact that it is made up of two groups of galaxies crashing into one another. In fact, Abell 3667 is home to 550 different galaxies that are steadily merging into a vast cosmic soup. The massive shockwave identified by scientists is the result of the merging between these two galaxy clusters. Currently, This cosmic collision is not readily visible to most telescopes, but it has caused a tremendous disruption wave in the region. Experts have described it as a massive shock wave emanating from both ends of the merging cluster and observable only in radio wavelengths. Researchers in South Africa utilised the Meerkat radio telescope array to visualise the radio remnants of both parts of the shockwave. This study found that structures are significantly more intricate than previously imagined. According to Francesco de Gasperin, the principal author of the study and a visiting scientist at the Hamburg Observatory in Germany, shockwaves act as huge particle accelerators that accelerate electrons to almost the speed of light. The waves are woven with the complex pattern of light filaments that indicate the position of huge magnetic field lines and the regions where electrons are accelerated. The shockwave may be a recent discovery, but it is not a recent phenomenon. In essence, it initially exploded into existence about 1 billion years ago, when the two galaxy clusters that made up Abell 3667 collided. When the two galaxy clusters merge, an extremely massive quantity of energy is released. This is because galaxy clusters are some of the most massive gravitationally bound formations in the entire universe. Researchers believe that this event represents the largest single discharge of energy since the Big Bang. 1 billion years ago, when the clusters collided, a wave of electrons was emitted, and these particles are still moving at an incredible speed of 1,500 kilometers per second. When passing through magnetic fields, these particles generate radio waves. Dr. Gasperin and his team noticed these radio waves through the Meerkat, but radio waves alone were insufficient to characterize the shockwave. The XMM Newton X-ray Observatory also spent time examining Abell 3667. If you examine the image of Abell 3667 closely, you will notice the central white color. This is a cluster of 550 separate galaxies, but the red hues on either side depict shockwaves generated during the formation of this supercluster. This discovery is considered a game changer in the field of study involved with understanding galaxy cluster mergers. Occasionally, the absence of everything poses a greater conundrum for scientists than the presence of something unexpected. In 1981, astronomers at the University of Michigan attempted to compute the redshifts of a large number of galaxies. They drew a 3D model of the universe, and as the map took shape, they noticed something odd. A vast gap existed approximately 700 million light-years away from Earth. The researchers were confronted by a roughly spherical region over 330 million light-years in size. This void could fit the Milky Way 1 billion times over, yet there were hardly any galaxies there. Originally known as the Great Nothing, it was eventually renamed the Boötes Void. This is presumably because it is within the constellation of Boötes, the herders who plough around the North Pole. Since then, numerous comprehensive maps of the universe have been produced, and we know that the majority of galaxies are found in the form of filaments which wound through the universe. Between these filaments are vast voids with few galaxies. Approximately 80% of the observable universe consists of these voids, the most of which are between 30 and 300 million light-years across. Therefore, the Boötes is referred to as the supervoid, since it is one of the biggest voids in the universe. Some scientists assume that numerous smaller voids combine to form Boötes. But why are these voids present? In the beginning of the universe's matter was densely packed like a homogeneous soup. However, random quantum fluctuations initiated the formation of minute variations in the distribution of matter. As a result, some regions became denser than others, which increased their gravitational pull and caused them to pull matter from less dense regions. This made them denser in certain locations and less dense in others, and so on. Simultaneously, the cosmos was expanding at a rapid rate, and the quantum level oscillations quickly reached hundreds of millions of light-years. The smaller clumps began to organize themselves into galaxies as the voids continued to expand. However, these were not the only remarkable things found in space in recent years. A group of astronomers from the University of Alabama Huntsville, led by Chong Gi, used the XMM Newton X-ray telescope and multi-unit spectroscopic explorer on the Very Large Telescope and the Subaru telescope to perform research. In outer space, they discovered a vast cloud of hot, dimly glowing plasma that is far larger than the Milky Way Galaxy. It is probable that this one-of-a-kind cosmic gas cloud was separated from a galaxy. The astonishing revelation was that rather than dispersing, this cloud had remained clumped together for hundreds of millions of years. The team of researchers decided, after evaluating the X-ray emission, that the cloud was even greater than they had anticipated. According to them, the mass of this cloud is almost 10 billion times that of the Sun. This discovery illustrates, according to the University of Alabama physicist Ming Sun, that there are constantly new surprises in astronomy. In addition to identifying this as an orphan cloud, the investigation revealed that its temperature ranges between 10,000 to 1 billion Kelvin. This temperature is comparable with a gas found within galaxies, which cemented the hypothesis that the moving cloud was ripped from a galaxy. Dr. Ming further disclosed that the cloud was discovered in the galaxy cluster Abell 1367, or Leo, which has approximately 70 galaxies and is located approximately 300 million light-years from Earth. The scientists were eager to determine why the gas cloud had not dissipated despite having left their galaxy so long ago. According to their estimates, a magnetic field can maintain the gas cloud together against the instabilities for an extended period of time. It is reasonable to presume, based on the mass of this cloud, that the galaxy from which it detached was likewise enormous. The research team is hopeful that this cloud will help them hunt down the galaxy's parent. In the future, this information will also aid scientists in detecting similar clouds. This cloud observational evidence lends support to the hypothesis that the intracluster medium can strip galaxies of their gas. Such discoveries and others gave scientists a glimpse of what the cosmos looked like in its infancy. But the discovery of more and more secrets from space is frightening because it demonstrates how little we know about the vast universe that surrounds us. Let us know what you think in the comments down below.